All right. Welcome to episode 10. That's this many of the home working adventure. Hope you've enjoyed them so far. I've enjoyed making them. It's been a little highlight of my day. Obviously, there's not much to do other than sit around and think about things, which isn't very productive. So making videos has kind of been a nice little highlight that I look forward to. Today we're going to talk about something else that I'm into that, is quite controversial, gets people talking. Wrestling. I like wrestling. It's fun to watch. I'm not a massive purist. I appreciate a good technical match, but I like pops and spots. That's what I like. Pops being crowd reactions, big moments that crowd are reacting to, and spots being the actual sort of moments in match, the actual, like a power driver through a table as an example of a spot. So I'm going to go through 10 of my favourite WWF/WWE pay-per-views. They're 10 of my favourite, once again. They're not my favourites. I may have missed a couple out. I'll give you some moments where I think they were good, and I'll give you a little bit of a score, as is tradition. You'll notice that basically I haven't chosen a pay-per-view post 2004. That's not to say that none of them are good post 2004. That's just because that's the area that I know well and that I have sort of most nostalgia about. So yeah, honourable mention. This isn't going to go into the top 10 because it's mainly there just because it's fun to watch. ECW One Night Stand from 2006. It's fun to watch. There's some great moments in there. There's a great spot at the end of the Sabu Rey Mysterio match. Not a particularly good match, but the spot at the end is crazy, and they have an extremely vibrant doctor come out and say that they can't carry on the match. Very funny. There's the 6-man tag with Edge, Lita Foley, Tommy Dreamer, Terry Funk, and Beulah McGillicuddy, where it's a good match. It's Terry Funk just wheeled out just because, you can do ridiculous things and set yourself on fire, can't you, Terry? Here you go, do that again. Yeah, it's just full of that, really. And the final, the pin, I think it's known for the pin on Edge on Beulah, is mental. It's X-rated. And the actual genuinely good match from that is RVD Cena. It's actually a good match, and the pop at the end, obviously the whole crowd is set in the ballroom, so the whole crowd is pro RVD. They're booing Cena more than ever, and it's a great moment. But anyway, that doesn't get into my top 10. I'm going to go through chronologically in terms of my favourites. Going way back to 1990, WrestleMania 6. It's not necessarily a great pay-per-view. It's just, I loved it because it was, my mum used to work at a video store, and we used to rent the occasional wrestling DVD, wrestling video that came in. It wasn't many, but one of the very first ones was WrestleMania 6, and the main event. It was great. It was colourful. You had. I know. That's where I found Shawn Michaels with the Rockers back in the day with Marty Jannetty. Yeah, fun. It was colourful. It was slightly camp. Nothing wrong with that. And the main event was slow, but like if you were there, it's one of them things that because you're so looking forward to this fight, this match between Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan, you're so looking forward to that match, and these guys are at the peak of stardom in pro wrestling at the time. It doesn't have to be for spots, and it's incredibly slow, but just because it's because of all of that, it's just fun to watch. Just because it's just the crowd reaction a lot of the time. And I think the idea of the match was that Hulk Hogan was supposed to pass over the torch to the Ultimate Warrior. Ultimate Warrior won. Spoilers. Ultimate Warrior won. And it's supposed to be passing the torch, but then that was 1990, and I think Hulk Hogan was still winning titles 10 years later. So that guy just doesn't like to let go. Obviously, he's done other questionable things, but there you go. It's not fantastic. Hopefully, it's just fun to watch. Very colourful. 7 out of 10. Bing! Next pay-per-view, we're going to skip over to 1998, June 1998. If you know your wrestling calendar, you know what pay-per-view I'm going to bring up. King of the Ring, 1998. It's many people's absolute epitome of the Attitude Era, and it's got one of the greatest matches for spots ever in Undertaker Mankind Hell in a Cell. Obviously, I mean, if you know your wrestling, I don't need to explain it to you, but if you don't, Undertaker throws Mankind off I don't know how tall this cage is, very tall, through a table. And apparently that was impromptu, apparently that wasn't planned. Mick, being the man that he is, just told him to be thrown over the cell onto the table, which was crazy. No one knew it was coming. Not even the commentators. They had to get up at last minute. Crazy. And then obviously, everyone, it took ages. He was wheeled out, and then he gets up again, climbs back to the top of the cell, and then gets choke slammed through the cell, which was planned apparently. But there you go. And then landed on some thumbtacks. That is. I know he landed on thumbtacks later. I can't remember. But that's the craziness. That took years off Mick's life. I know it, and he knows it probably. His wife probably knows it. Absolutely stunning. And then obviously, I actually really like the Kane Stone Cold First Blood match as well. I know it's a bit daft. How can you? I mean, the Kane is covered up from head to toe. How can you tell if he's bleeding? But I'm a big Kane fan, and that was his first world title, which he held for a record run of about 24 hours. Brilliant. What a 24 hours. He probably got laid a few times, had a right party that night, did Kane. Then lost it the next day, back to Stone Cold. Such was the fever behind Stone Cold at the time. One of my favourite pay-per-views all time. It's a 10. Bing! Next, skip forward about a year and a half. January 2000. You all know what I'm going to say. Royal Rumble 2000. Every January there is a Royal Rumble. It is one of my favourite pay-per-views. Every year I will either stay up or watch it every year. Even if I've fallen out of love a bit with wrestling, I always watch the Royal Rumbles. I always find them fun. Always good to see which old guys they bring out. And surprises of the match and who lasts the longest. Always interesting to watch that kind of thing. But this isn't famous for the Royal Rumble match itself. There are two matches on this card which are great, and I remember when I first properly got into wrestling was around this time, because I think this is when Channel 4 started airing pay-per-views, and this was the first one they aired. It was amazing. You had the Hardys versus Dudley's table match, which was amazing. Several great spots in that. Obviously the iconic Jeff Hardy spot to Swanton Bomb through the table for Bubba Ray. I think it was Bubba Ray and Devon actually. I think they were both put in there, weren't they? I can't remember. Maybe it might have just been Bubba Ray. But yeah, amazing. And then you had the street fight between Triple H and Cactus Jack. Just epic. Just one of my favourite matches of all time. I can't take my eyes off it. Everything they do is flawless. Again, Mick Foley showing how much of a nutcase he is. And fair play Triple H. He gets hit over the head with 2x4 ups and barbed wire several times. That guy, I mean, a lot of people can criticise him, but he has done some things for the business that no one would do, and he's been fantastic. Great match. And the Royal Rumble match itself is pretty good too, as the Rock win that one as well. Spoilers again, sorry. Spoilers. I should cover this in spoilers. Again, it's another 10. Bing! I'm going to slap on a year. 2000 was a great year. I couldn't really pick out many pay-per-views from that because they were all kind of on a level. They were all very good. I'm going to skip on a year to Royal Rumble 2001. It's got my favourite Rumble match of all time. It's packed full of stars. The Rock, Stone Cold, Kane, Undertaker. Packed. A Big Show makes a return. It's brilliant. Hardy's obviously in it at the beginning. You have a return from Honky Tonk Man. Who doesn't want to watch a Royal Rumble where the Honky Tonk Man returns? Am I right? Apparently WWE like that because they've done that twice now. Yeah, it's a great Rumble match. Obviously one of my favourite wrestlers of all time. Kane lasts an hour and then loses, so that's good. That was worth that, wasn't it? Brilliant for Stone Cold to win. Not that I have a problem with Stone Cold, I love Stone Cold. That was his third Rumble win. It was great. You had a hardcore section as well. A hardcore Royal Rumble, you can't go wrong with that. Undertaker and Kane teaming up for the first time. Brilliant, loved it. And the Benoit Jericho ladder match often goes under the radar simply because that Royal Rumble match was so good. The Jericho Benoit ladder match is fantastic. Most Jericho Benoit matches are really good, but the ladder match is fantastic, worth watching. The other matches, I think, wasn't a huge fan of like the title fight between Angle and Triple H, both because they were both heels and there wasn't that sort of crowd reaction to it. Although you did have Stone Cold do a run in that match. The other matches aren't at the same level. It's an 8 for me. Bing! Next one, move over a few months to WrestleMania X7, which I'm not a fan of. 17, let's just do 17. X7, you are stooping to people's level. If they can't read 17 Roman numerals, teach them. Give them the 17, saying, what's that? Oh, it's 17. Learn the Roman numerals. They are important, but they're not really important. Dead numbers, nobody really uses them at the end of programs. I don't know why they do that, but there you go. Nice. They look cool. Anyway, let's get back onto the wrestling. WrestleMania 17 is probably it's my favourite WrestleMania of all time. Several reasons, but I'm going to pick two. The TLC match, TLC 2, is wall-to-wall crazy. The famous TLC match is obviously between Hardy's, Dudley's and Edge and Christian. But this one has Hardy's, Dudley's, Edge and Christian, and then they all have one running partner each. So it's effectively a 9-man match. It's mental. Crazy spots in there. Obviously, Jeff's from the top of that massive ladder. Spear from ladder to ladder. It wasn't ladder to ladder. It was ladder to. Was it Matt holding onto the? Matt was holding onto the belts and Edge speared him. Crazy. Again, years cut off their lives, all of them. Fantastic. All 9 of them. I mean, Lita was involved in that. Lita, Spike Dudley and Rhino. Crazy match. If anyone says, I want to get into wrestling, show me the craziest match you got, it'd be between that and the Undertaker Mankind Hell in a Cell. I'll show one of those and go, if you think wrestling is fake, what they're doing is not fake. They've hurt themselves several times. And then you've got the main event, Stone Cold The Rock. It's marked down in wrestling folklore as the end of the Attitude Era. Is when Stone Cold sells his soul, teams up with the Devil. These are all words from JR, I believe. Sells his soul to the Devil, Vince McMahon. And wins the title by just using a chair several times on The Rock. The Rock obviously turning up in Stone Cold's home state, so The Rock was booed. Stone Cold was cheered, but Stone Cold, it was brilliant piece of script writing, really, from the bookers there. Loved it. It's a 10. I can't fault the pay-per-view. There's the gimmick battle royale, which is crazy. It's mental. I think the Iron Sheik, who is crazy and mental himself, he wins it. But it's just amazing. Great pay-per-view. I got to rattle through these really. Only halfway through. Here's one that's not many people's favourite, but I liked it. Survivor Series 2001. It's the end of the Invasion storyline. Invasion storyline did not reach the capacity it could have. All of these, it's supposed to be WCW versus WWF at the time, and WCW had people like Hulk Hogan, Goldberg, Bret Hart, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall. Imagine that Sting. Imagine them coming over and fighting The Rock, Stone Cold, Kane, Undertaker, Big Show, Jericho. Didn't happen because they all had contracts and weren't allowed on WWF TV. So instead, what we had Stone Cold going over to WCW, Kurt Angle defecting. Kurt Angle never fought in WCW. Shane McMahon, who bought WCW, he wrestled for them. Booker T was a name. Booker T was probably the only one genuine in the WCW that was there. They had RVD as well, because obviously it's the Alliance. It was WCW and ECW. RVD was on that side. Yeah, it was. I just like that match just for the drama. Obviously, it's all crap, and it wasn't. Imagine the first Alliance pay-per-view. No, that was never going to happen, was it? But it was fun. It was fun to watch. Obviously, the fact that you had the ace in the hole, as it were, and Kurt Angle, who was actually, and Vince McMahon was still acting as a heel, even though he was a face. People cheered him at the end, and he came out like a tyrannical ruler. And it was almost as if you kind of go at the end, what have we done? But yeah, it's fun. It's crazy. And the match of the night there is the Dudley's Hardy's cage match. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. You get a little brief shot of Stacy Keibler's ass as well, so that's also, just tune in for that. Sorry, got lost in there. Just daydreaming then. It's an 8 out of 10 for me, that pay-per-view. It has some weak moments. The Battle Royale as well. The Battle Royale's good. Edge versus Test is a good match. It's got some weak moments, but it's a strong. I enjoy it. Nostalgia, really. I've just realised I've doing this chronologically and then have missed one. Judgment Day 2001 as well is very good. Shortly after Stone Cold heel turned, he joined up with Triple H for the 2-man power trip, which didn't last very long because Triple H got injured. But Kane versus Triple H strap match I really enjoyed. Kane won. Come on, Kane. Tag team turmoil was great. Jericho revealing his partner was Chris Benoit. Brilliant. They had a good little tag team. I quite enjoyed theirs. And Stone Cold, Undertaker. Good match. The really annoying thing about that match though at the end is the fact that Kane seems to come in and they do this big explosion. Kane's music comes running in too late because by the time he takes to run in, Stone Cold's pinned Taker and it's over. But I still enjoyed it. It's 7 out of 10. It's not a great pay-per-view, but it's got some nice moments that I enjoyed. First ever Elimination Chamber in this next one. Survivor Series 2002. It's in MSG. MSG pay-per-views are always quite interesting. But you've got a 3-on-3 eliminations table match back at the MSG like at Royal Rumble 2000. Jeff Hardy with Bubba Ray and Spike this time. It's 3-minute warning. Is that 3-minute warning? I should really look that up. There you go. It's really fun. It's really fun. Jeff does some spots as well. Fun to watch. Not quite as good as the 2000 Royal Rumble, but there you go. And the first ever Elimination Chamber is the best Elimination Chamber of all time, in my opinion. It's fantastic. It goes on for about 40 minutes, and everyone has their moment. And Shawn Michaels' first proper match since coming back. Apparently they don't count the SummerSlam match, but his first match, and he won the title. It's a great moment. A really great match. That match holds the pay-per-view up really well, and it's an 8.5. Bing! 8.5 out of 10 for that one. Move on to the next ever Elimination Chamber match, which was SummerSlam 2003. I know this isn't rated particularly highly on the thing, but I enjoyed it. I had this DVD. I enjoyed it for the matches on there. Angle Lesnar had a match which was pretty good, not up to the WrestleMania 19 match, but it's pretty fun to watch. Kane, RVD, No Holds Barred, again, quite fun to watch. I think it's the first pay-per-view that Kane had when he took his mask off and revealed that his face is absolutely fine. He was just a big guy who's a little bit ugly, not burnt at all, just ugly. I mean, if everyone was wearing a mask for how ugly you were, then you wouldn't know what I look like, because I'd be wearing a mask. And then the Elimination Chamber, which was short, mainly because it goes on. You know, you have your, I think it's Kevin Nash, Jericho, Shawn Michaels, Randy Orton, Goldberg, and Triple H. The first four are in, which is the first four I mentioned. So Shawn Michaels, Jericho, Randy Orton, and Kevin Nash. I'm not sure what order. They all do things. Kevin Nash doesn't last very long. Goldberg comes and destroys everyone, and then just waits for Triple H. I think Triple H closes himself in, doesn't he? I think it's actually Triple H comes in early, then closes himself in because he gets kicked by Shawn Michaels. It's something like that, and he just waits for him, and he batters him, and then Triple H uses the magical power of a sledgehammer on Goldberg's face and wins. It is one of the most unpopular decisions because Goldberg dominates. One sledgehammer to the face and he wins. That's it. But it's entertaining, it's fun, and it does make you laugh. It's an 8 out of 10. Bing. And then finally, moving on to WrestleMania 20. This is great for many reasons. I'm not going to say the Goldberg-Lesnar match because it's awful, but it does have a highlight in the fact that Stone Cold just stuns both of them. Is in 2 fingers to both of them. They were both heading up out of the company anyway. Good to see the end of them. Eddie Guerrero, Kurt Angle had a good match, which Guerrero won, retained his title. Undertaker's return after being buried alive. Undertaker's entrance is hair-raising. Basically, the match isn't that great, but it's the return of the dead Undertaker as well. Saying goodbye to the American Badass, and then he returns, and it's a great entrance. And then the triple threat match at the end, Benoit, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, is fantastic. Benoit's magnum opus, that was calling it. It's I think it's his greatest match, and his greatest moment as well. Has a lovely moment of him and Eddie at the end, which is obviously quite poignant, considering what happened to Eddie and Chris within a few years. Both passed away. Obviously Benoit not in particularly nice circumstances, but we won't talk about that. But it's a great pay-per-view at MSG as well. So yeah, 3 of the pay-per-views I've chosen at MSG. There you go. That gets a 9 out of 10. It had some real bad moments in there, but had some pretty good ones as well to level out. 9 out of 10. Bing. There you go. That's wrestling. I've given you all of the wrestling there. You don't really need to. If you want me to nail it down to specific matches, there may be some matches I've not included on here because the pay-per-view itself wasn't great, but the one match stands out, or just particular moments, standout moments. Just let me know. I can do that. But I've chosen some pay-per-views because it's not much for the network per month if you're into wrestling. I think a tenner, and you get basically everything. And we're all locked in, struggling for things to watch, struggling for things to take up your time with. If you get the network, it's great for just sitting down, sticking on a pay-per-view and watching it. Again, I've given you hours worth there, hours and hours. But by all means, go and let me know what you think. If you've got some favourite pay-per-views, let me know. I always read the comments, all one of them per video. But I'm hoping for some more. So by all means, let me know. And yeah, it's fun. Subscribe and like and all that. I guess that's it for today. I will be back tomorrow. I still haven't decided what I'm going to do it on, but we'll think of something. I always think of something. Yeah. Cheers then.